Okay, call to order the town board meeting, August 9th. Linda, could you call the roll, please?
Deputy Supervisor Smith,
Here.
Councilman Ondesana,
Here.
Councilman Courtney,
Here.
Councilman Holdridge.
Here.
Supervisor Valentine is absent.
Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, so we do have two public meetings for local law number 5 of 2023. Local law is to update and amend the chapter 33 of the town code of the town of Chester to prohibit smoking, vaping, and the use of electronic cigarettes on public property. As follows, the purpose and the intent. It is the intent and purpose of this local law to update and amend chapter 33 of the town code of the town of Chester entitled Alcoholic Beverages and Cannabis to add provisions which prohibit smoking, vaping, and use of electronic cigarettes on public property located in the town of Chester. It is the finding of the town board of the town of Chester that smoking, vaping, and the use of electronic cigarettes on public property owned by the town of Chester is detrimental to the health and safety of the welfare of the citizens of the town of Chester, and that such public use contributes to the creation of nuisance and otherwise impedes upon the welfare of town residents. The town of Chester enacts this local law to exercise of its police power to prohibit the general health and safety and welfare of the residents of the town of Chester. So, any,
Need a motion to open.
okay, I need a motion to open up public hearing for comment.
Motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any comments?
Is there?
You have a sheet? Is there
Oh, okay, who's here? Okay, public hearing, tax exempt, public hearing, prohibit smoking, Joshua Keefe? Kopp, okay, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody, members of the board, members of the public, people watching at home. My name is Joshua Koff, and I am here in support of this local law. And as much as I support it, I don't feel that my personal story is the most important for something like this. I'm going to talk about a few other people in my life. Just quick facts. According to the CDC, over 25 million Americans, that's a little less than 8% of our national population, have been diagnosed with asthma, another 5.6% with COPD. On average, there's between 150 and 200,000 lung cancer diagnoses in our country every year. When you do the numbers, people that are afflicted by breathing inhibitions, it works out to about 1 in every 5 Americans. You can think hard about trying to find 1 or 2 people in your life that are impacted by one of these ailments. I don't have to think all that hard. 2 of the most important people in my life are impacted by breathing ailments like asthma. My brother, Jeffrey, and my girlfriend, Allison, have both been diagnosed with asthma. It's important to think about people like Jeff and Allison who want to be part of their community, who want to be able to engage in civic duties and activities like going to a public park or filing taxes at town hall when necessary. And to have them have to worry about being exposed to secondhand smoke while they're trying to do something as simple as go to the park and risk the potential for an asthma attack creates an undue burden and unnecessary heartache on them. It creates a situation where they are not able to engage in the day-to-day like everybody else. And it's not just the people that are already suffering from these ailments that are impacted by secondhand smoke. According to the CDC, there is no safe amount of secondhand smoke for anybody, regardless of whether or not you have a lung ailment like the ones I described. It creates a situation where it is physically unsafe for anybody to go. And while it may have been socially acceptable at one point, it's become increasingly less so to put other people at that risk. I understand when it comes to, especially to cigarettes, that it's an addiction and it's a difficult thing. And I'm not here to talk about that and how that impacts people. I'm looking at people like my brother and my girlfriend who are not able to do simple things like everyone else in our community because they're worried they're going to have to go to the hospital if someone's smoking. The number of hospitalizations related to asthma attacks in Orange County was 9.3 per 10,000 people, which might not sound like a lot, but outside of New York City, the New York State average is just over 5. So we're almost double the state average. Doing something like this is going to make sure that people that have had these incidents happen are going to have protections going forward. People who may very well, without this law, are going to be protected. And we're making Chester a safer place, not just for people that are already at risk, but for everybody that calls this place home. So that's my stance on it. I'm a little bit disappointed that we don't have the full board to be able to discuss this tonight, but I understand that that doesn't always happen. I appreciate you all taking the time to hear me out and to listen to what I have to say. And I look forward to the passage of this local law. Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
Thank you.
Joshua. Okay, now we have Howard Cohen.
Hi, everyone. Howard Cohen. I'm surprised that I don't know any of you because I've been here my whole life. I've been hiding in the bushes. I try to get involved locally, especially in the past couple of years. I'm a volunteer with the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference and do blazing and maintaining of trails in the area. I'm also working with the Orange County Land Trust in our assessing the Sugarloaf Mountaintop. I met my wife on a blind date at the barn cider. So just to give you an idea. Josh, thank you for your passionate approach to the subject. I'm just going to expound a little bit. Yes, the CDC is very vociferous about it. The U.S. Surgeon General back in 1972 had first put forth the proposition that secondhand smoke is dangerous. And this is under Nixon. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from different various medical institutions and associations. The National Institute of Health. Secondhand cigarette smoke is harmful and deadly. As Josh said, he quoted CDC, there's no safe level of exposure to cigarette smoke. There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, including hundreds of toxic chemicals. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-smoking. We're talking about secondhand smoke and secondhand smoke only, because we don't want to tell people they can't smoke in the house. We can't tell people that they can't smoke in the car. In New York State, nearly 1,400 deaths a year attributed to secondhand smoke. In adults who have never smoked, exposure to secondhand smoke can cause heart disease, lung cancer, stroke. In children, they're more likely to get ear infections, have trouble breathing, wheezing, shortness of breath, as Josh mentioned, asthma to a great extent, and lower respiratory infections. The EPA states whether the exposure occurs indoors or outdoors, the adverse health effects remain the same. There's a multidisciplinary medical journal and a peer review. They talk about secondhand smoke. In the past 50 years in the United States, 100,000 babies have died from smoking-related prematurity, low birth weight, SIDS, or other conditions caused by exposure to chemicals in secondhand smoke during infancy or before birth. 76%, I know percentages don't mean a lot, but take it in context. 76% of mothers who said they smoked only outside when they reported that they had no effect on their kids. The actual tobacco smoke exposure based upon conitine levels is 5 to 7% higher in kids with families that had no smoking parents. No one in the family smoked, only exposed to secondhand smoke outside. The CDC says, again, I repeat it, there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke, even if brief exposure. The New York City, as you probably all know, has passed a no smoking act. You can't smoke within 20 feet of a public building, and you certainly can't smoke in parks or beaches, etc. When this first came up back in May, in regards to the local law 2, we talked about cannabis. I was totally for that. I don't believe that cannabis should be smoked in public. I'm 100% with the board on that. But I'm just going to state something from that law. The town board of the town of Chester finds that the use of cannabis on public property owned by the town of Chester is detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the town of Chester. If the things that I and Josh had mentioned don't account for a detriment to the public, I don't know what it is. And I think that it would behoove us to add secondhand smoke, outdoor smoking of cigarettes at public places, especially town parks and beaches and all, should be very seriously considered.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, next we have Cheryl Koff.
Good evening. I want to first thank you all for serving our community and being here and listening. I just want to piggyback off of what the two gentlemen who preceded me have indicated. I find it, in addition to the health risks to those who are exposed to secondhand smoke, it makes for very uncomfortable circumstances when you're walking into a building or a grocery store or a business and someone is outside the door within, even if it's within a few the feet that are regulated, you're still experiencing the smell, inhaling the secondhand smoke. I lost my dad to lung cancer. My son has asthma. I have other friends and family who are asthmatic. It's very troubling to know that those individuals, their rights are being infringed upon because others have a habit. And I understand that, and I'm not trying to ridicule anybody for that, but if they're in a situation where they're in a public place and others are going to be exposed, it's not fair to those who are experiencing discomfort or have medical issues. I'm an early childhood educator, and it's very uncomfortable for me to see people in a public place or a park or in places where children are exposed to secondhand smoke. I was in a circumstance today in a public area where the sign said no smoking, and the woman was smoking and putting the cigarette to her side. So she was obviously not being lawful. But when someone called it to her attention, they said, she said, I'm really sorry. Usually I go to the end of the fence, but I wanted to watch my kids and so on and so forth. It's not fair to those people that are around. So as a mom, as an educator, as a concerned citizen, I also reinforce that the law should recognize that people should not be able to smoke in a public area. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Michelle, anybody? No comments? Anybody else here? No. Okay, so we will close the public hearing. Make a motion.
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so noted. All right, so,
Can I motion to vote on this?
no, I'd sooner not vote on it tonight. We'll wait till the next meeting.
I'm sorry?
I'd rather wait till the next meeting to vote on it.
Well, does the rest of the board feel like we would like to vote on this tonight? Mhm. Yeah. I'd like the motion to vote to, how would you say? Adopt the local law change.
I'll second.
I think we need a little bit more discussion on this myself.
I think we've discussed it and, you know, we passed the cannabis law. So I mean, to align ourselves with that, I mean, I think we've kind of discussed that all already.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, my only concern originally was the smoking in the public outside the public buildings. I mean, that might be something, you know, I don't know, on the flipping the coin the other way, if I was a smoker and I was at work and I was able to go outside and smoke, I think it's 50 feet or 75 feet away from a public building. Does that change? Are we changing that, or is that still in existence? Because I think that's a state law, would be my only question.
So the law that is written right now is on no property.
No problem.
No property.
You're
Okay.
not even allowed for a distance
Okay.
of 50 to 70, but as it's currently drafted.
Okay.
If it's something you want to change, you have to.
No, we could, I mean, I don't know how everyone else feels about that.
Well, I
mean,
think we should be able to make amends to put a distance as to where, you know, you're talking about the theater, you're talking about the court, you're talking about highway employees. You know, I think everybody should have a designated area rather than just saying that there's no smoking. It's,
Well, we also just heard from the residents, and I'm sure there's a lot of other residents that feel the
Well,
same way, and that's who we serve.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We just heard from a bunch of people saying that, you know, people can't be I mean, I completely agree with their sentiments. I mean, you know, if we're going to do the same thing for marijuana, I don't understand why we have to have a separate set of rules for smoking when smoking is a much more dangerous towards the public, especially for secondhand. I mean, we just heard a bunch about secondhand smoking. I agree with those sentiments.
well, you want to call it?
No, I also agree with that. You know, at first I thought, you know,
I think he said
there were certain rights taken away from the smokers, but then I'm a non-smoker, and that's also mentioned on my rights, not to smell stuff. So I agree with that. We should actually vote on passing it.
All right, call it. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to say no.
Aye. Pass.
Okay. All right, so be it. Okay, we're going to do the, excuse me, the other local law. This is introduction to local law number 6 of 2023, local law to further update and amend Chapter 87, Article 6 of the Town Code of the Town of Chester to authorize property tax exemptions to volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers who have accumulated at least 2 years of service. To be enacted by the Town of Chester in the County of Orange as follows. Purpose and intent is, it is the intent and purpose of this local law to further update and amend Chapter 87, Article 6 of the Town Code of the Town of Chester entitled Exemption for Volunteer Emergency Personnel to grant a partial real property tax exemption to qualified volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance who have accumulated at least 2 years of service. Make a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, do we have, board, public hearing, nope. There's nobody on the list here. Anybody
Nothing,
have
no.
anything to say?
Nobody on the computer either. Larry.
Good evening, Larry Dysinger, 46 Odyssey Drive. I'm all in favor of this local law. The only thing I would want to ensure that the people that get the exemption, the partial exemption, are active members. You know, they participate, you know, a certain percent of the time. Not belonging to numerous organizations that I do. You have 20% of the people doing 80% of the work, and there's always people that are members but not active. So I would like to have something in there. What is that threshold as far as participation? You know, is it they have to, you know, attend 80% of all the meetings or calls or something? I don't know what that number should be, but I think there should be something in there, and I'm not sure how that's going to be monitored. and reported on. But, for people who are active members, I think it's great. But I think there needs to be some measurement and, accountability. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
If I can just speak to that. So this is changing the law that we already have on the books. We did institute this a couple months back. And so the stipulations, any qualified member who has been certified by the authority having jurisdiction here and then after for the Incorporated Volunteer Fire Company, Fire Department, or Volunteer Ambulance Service as an enrolled member of such incorporated volunteer company, fire department, and or volunteer ambulance service shall be entitled to 10% reduction in taxable value of the real property for town real property tax purposes, so long as the applicant has been an enrolled member of incorporated volunteer fire company, fire department, or volunteer ambulance service for at least 2 years prior to submitting an application for tax exemption. So, to my understanding, the fire chiefs obviously have control over, who is actually an enrolled member, an active member, and all that, and they have the records of how long they've been serving and what type of service. So I believe that all that is handled by the fire departments, being eligible to receive this. And I believe they have to obviously report all this to, I would assume, the tax assessor or tax receiver or something like that. But we already have this on the books. That we're just changing it from at least 5 years prior to at least 2 years prior, because that's what the fire departments, the fire engines had told us they wanted. And we had made a mistake previously by not making it a 2-year requirement, but a 5-year requirement. So we're just changing it for that reason. But yes, there is a process of which they have to be, I guess, vetted for doing the required amount of service for the years and all that.
Michelle, is there anybody on the outside? No. Okay, no more comments. Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to motion to adopt the local law change.
All right, we'll make a motion to adopt the local law change for the firefighter ambulance property tax exemption. Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so passed. We'll go into public comments. EJ Schulbach, you're the first one up.
Thank you for the opportunity to follow up on my requests for the town board plans that address climate change challenge. My first visit was May 24th, with subsequent meeting visits until July 26th, when I proposed that the board approve the formation of a climate change committee. I suggested some guidelines that the board would consider. I am looking forward to the board's actions concerning this topic. Thank you for your concern and hopefully a prompt reply. Thank you.
I will be having something about that in new business. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, EJ. Next up is Larry Dysinger. You're gonna pass? Okay. All right, so,
I have one online.
okay, go ahead, online.
I have Donna Sansone, 1 DeRose Lane. Good evening. Please advise why it has taken so long to act on Councilman Holdridge's request for the past couple of meetings to have the town attorney draft a resolution on changes to the noise ordinance based on Larry's edits to the code. Thank you, Donna Sansone.
Okay, so noted. What's that?
That came in today, public comment.
Oh, public comment. Oh, okay, I kind of put that towards the bottom. Okay, we have a public comment. Dear Chester Supervisor, Town Board members, It has come to our attention that a resident of Chester has requested the town board to create a climate-smart community task force. We would like to express our support for Chester to take on this action and join other participating municipalities in the county such as Woodbury, Monroe, Goshen, Blooming Grove, Tuxedo, Warwick, and others. Not only will the designation as a climate-smart community open up opportunities for additional grants and technical assistance, there are benefits to have a working task force bringing like-minded individuals together in your community for a common goal. They can help the town distribute information to residents on a variety of environmental topics, which is important to educate new homeowners from more urban areas who are now on well and septic. The task force can also engage the community to join in family projects like planting trees, pollinator gardens, composting, and recycling. A community choice aggregation to save Chester residents money on their energy bills, which Woodbury and Warwick are currently exploring a town-wide default energy supplier. These are just a few ideas to get the community working together to improve public health and safety for a more resilient future. We thought it might be helpful to provide you with some additional information in supporting the reasons why you should become a climate-smart community, including the ease to get started and goals to consider. There's a link on this. Please let us know if we can be further assistance. Sincerely, Tracy Shu. This fact sheet is Office of Climate Change, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. So, anything else for public comment? No?
That's it.
Okay, so we're going to close that part, and I have to make a motion to go into executive session. So noted. Make a
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, executive session, and we will be back. Okay, make a motion to come out of executive session.
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we need a motion to accept the minutes of 7:26 meeting.
I'll make the motion to accept 7:26 meeting minutes.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we now have to do budget modifications. Do I have to read these individually, or
Yes.
what do we got?
And adopted.
And adopt them. Okay, the first one is Delfino Electric, Walton Lake Emergency, the amount of $2,500 from ARP fund to fund WL 8320 400. Make a motion to for the budget modification.
I'll make a motion for the budget modification.
Second,
I'll second that.
Oh.
And can we just, what is this? What, can we explain what this is?
it was Delfino Electric for Walton Lake Emergency,
Okay.
which was already done.
Right.
Okay, so we're just transferring money?
Mhm.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the second one is Delfino Electric Walton Lake Emergency Sugarloaf is back, is a backup well, $300 from Fund ARPA to Fund SL 8320 400. Make a motion to transfer.
I'll make the motion to transfer funds.
Second,
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, another budget modification is Landscape Structures Senior Center, the gym equipment grant, the amount of $56,285 from Fund A6772 400 to Fund A672 200. Make a motion.
I'll make that motion for the budget modification.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So motion. Budget modification for Landscape Structure Senior Center Gym Equipment Installation Grant. The amount of $69,510 from Fund ARPA to Fund A6772 200. Make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the budget funds. Okay. Now, let's see. And we've got motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, pay the bills. Neil Larson Association Sugarloaf Historic Preservation authorized use of ARPA funding, approved amendment contract. Do we have a contract that we're signed, have for this, or, well? Real good? How much you want me to read? All of it?
Probably read the cost.
Which, where we at?
Stored present.
These guys? Okay, this is for, we had approved that the town was gonna pay for this anyway, when the.
Well, it's going through the grant.
Right,
Yeah.
but now it wasn't, so now that we agreed to pay for this.
So,
Sugarloaf.
let me just clarify before you proceed. Mr. Larson had provided a prior letter of agreement to the town, which was signed. It allowed for a initial fee for some of his upfront costs, with the expectation that the town would have received a grant, at which point it would have kicked in the majority of his work and his quarterly pay. When we didn't get the grant, kind of, the town had a discussion, I believe, a month ago, as to what your intentions are. So this is a new letter of agreement that he's provided that doesn't have a phasing plan. It's just a fee for his efforts to try to get the historical designation. So I know we've had discussions before.
Right.
I don't know where the town is on this, but I think ultimately the discussion is going to be, do you want to proceed right now and engage the services, or you want to have a conversation of timing of when you want to proceed maybe with a second run of the grant? But again, this was provided to us as an updated letter of agreement. I think you need to decide how you want to proceed
Right.
with Mr. Larson.
Do we want to get some background from Lydia
Yeah, I
again?
guess we need a little bit more information
Yeah.
on this, so we'll table that. to
Well,
the-
no, I mean,
Lydia's
Lydia's
gonna
right
be
here. I
able to
think
get
she
What you
she
got,
can-
Lydia?
She can give
Tell us.
some input. I know she had emailed us all.
Yeah, so Mr. Bonasich is correct. There was an initial agreement, and because we didn't get the grant, we no longer had that funding to use to pay Mr. Larson. So then I approached the board, I contacted Mr. Larson. He revised the agreement
Yeah.
because he also changed the dates,
Mhm.
because he thought we were going to wait to get the grant next year, which would push us out to 2025 for the nomination process, which I believe in the last meeting, the board said you didn't want to wait till 2025.
Right.
Right.
So he revised the agreement, and the submission date now for the nomination will be March 2024. But he has to start doing his research and compiling the nomination package. In fact, he wants to schedule a meeting on September 14th to meet with residents and public officials, whoever wants to attend, to gather more historical information to compile his data.
Hmm.
So I'm working on setting up a meeting for September. He's going to come down for that meeting.
Okay.
Anyway, so
So we can proceed with this here.
I think you can. He
Right,
actually,
because-
he reduced his fee by
Right.
$1,000.
That's right.
And he put the dates back where we wanted them. So I would hope that you could approve it.
Yeah, right. I don't see any reason why not. So.
Do you, Scott? Do you?
No, I just,
Yeah.
it's up to you to decide if you want to, I know those discussions, I'm going to
Yeah.
discuss. So the terms have changed, I don't know.
Okay.
I would like to motion to approve the contract with Neil Larson.
Thank
How
you.
much, how much?
It's $10,000. It was originally with the grant was $11,000,
Okay.
which we said we'd pay.
Right.
But, yeah,
Okay, I'll second.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that means I can sign.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right here. Okay, so be it. Okay, the next on the agenda is to go out for RFP for the garbage refuse collection. So that expires in December 31st, so we can put the RFP out for the next meeting, or do we want to make
I
changes?
believe, you should have Scott review the prior, which is in your box. Okay,
Right,
he's
so,
got it.
and if there should be
there's
some
changes
changes
that need to be
or
made.
whatever that we should make, this was,
Maybe at the next.
yeah, next
Set-
meeting, you can have, give us
Set the
more
timeline.
information if there's changes.
Well, the only issue is Linda has provided some, I guess there's been some communication with residents. So if you all have the RFP, you might want to look at the bullet points, just, they might be additional terms you might want to add to the RFP.
Okay.
We kind of used over the years some of the similar type of RFP terms.
Right,
So you'll need to give some indication of some of these other points,
okay,
if you want to add that to the RFP or not.
okay, so.
I know a big thing was bulk pickup. A lot of people are really pissed off about bulk
Yeah.
pickup.
Yeah.
Right, it's not running consistently the way they
Yeah.
had stated. It was, we'd have it like once a week from April to November. Now we got to call up and then it's like a 3-week wait
Mhm.
and,
Yeah,
And then they don't come.
yeah.
I've used it twice in the last 3 months, and I haven't had a problem, so I don't
It's,
know.
well, it's
Maybe
not a
they,
problem, but it's
Well, I
just
mean,
not
maybe they
what
rec-
stipulated.
well, maybe
so-
they rectified, because they were having a problem at one point, because I had people telling me as well, but I know I've used it twice now, and when they said they were
Right.
coming, they came. So
Yeah,
whatever
well,
issue they were having,
Yeah.
they might have
Complaints
fixed it.
have lessened, so I agree that I think they might have improved.
It's
but
contract
that's-
time.
Yeah, but I
the-
think,
The reason I brought that up is because that was the agreement, and then they veered away from the agreement.
Right,
So if you have an agreement, then it should be enforceable.
Right.
right. And also now is the electronics is going to be a problem, an issue, I'm sure.
So
So,
we don't know who's gonna bid.
Right.
So I guess it'll depend on who else.
Yeah, so, we'll do some review onto it and then we can set it out for RFP the next meeting. Okay. Okay, we need an approval for the Wilson Road Block Party. Do we make a motion? No,
No.
come to think of it, there's no date on it. Do we have-
September 2nd?
Wilson Road is September 2nd, rain date September 3rd.
Okay, and I shall read it then. It's that time of year again that we on Lower Wilson Road, Monroe, wish to hold our annual block party. It is planned for Saturday, September 2nd, with a rain date of Sunday, September 3rd. Attached is the signed request letter from 8 families who host the event, and we're hoping that it can be brought to the Chestertown Board for review in enough time for us to move forward. Please let me know that you received this. Also set up a read receipt with this email. Let me know if you have any questions or see any complications to holding our event. And this is sent by Tom Walker, 18 Wilson Road. So we make a motion to accept it.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
They've always had,
They've always done it, so.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the block party on Wilson Road on 9/2 and the rain date 9/3.
Second,
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so noted.
Also have the second one.
What's this one?
Another block party.
Go. They're little party animals down there. Okay, we are writing to you today to request a road closure for a portion of Harding Way in Lake Hill Farms for a block party. This would take place on August 26th, 2023, from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. between 27 Harding Way to 38 Harding Way. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you for the consideration. This is by Brian Kleiss. So we make a motion to accept proceed for their block party.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so noted. There you go. Block party. Okay, we have the fence proposal, which came into $2,400 was the low bid. Not 24, no, this was 14, where'd I have it, 14,000?
Do you mean 1,400?
Nope. No, this is to do the fence around 2 sides.
Oh.
Where'd I have it? I have to look for it. Fence quote for the pickleball courts. I did go out and get, where is the catcher fence? Yeah, this one here is to have the 2 sides to enclose the pickleball courts. Comes out to $14,890, which was the low bid for Ketchum Fence. Do you make a motion to approve this because we had agreed
You
to
need to,
what's that?
you need the other 2 bids. to be
The other 2
stated. Yeah.
bids. Okay, all right. Fesco fence was $22,398. And Copernicus fencing was $19,800. So we go from there to enclose the pickleball courts. Somebody want to make a motion to accept the Ketchum fence?
I'll make a motion for the bid from Ketchum Fence for the pickleball courts.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so noted. Also to finish off the repairs for the damages at the pickleball courts and finish around the posts that were needed to be done. That came in from A Plus Striping, who did the original work for $2,400. So make a motion to approve the $2,400 for the repairs and finishing off the pickleball courts.
Motion.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Let's see what else I've got here that I'm supposed to read. They're looking for a billboard policy change request. Did I have a paper on that, Linda?
I do not.
No?
I do not.
Oh,
Just
okay.
wanted someone on
Okay.
the board.
Oh, okay, no, let's see, this, there, I have it right here. Okay, so there was, normally, Tom Becker had made a comment about the Sugarloaf Pack being on the billboards at the last, meeting. It was, always that we have to, every time that we want to put something out there, about the theater, about shows or anything going on in town, Walter always came to the board to ask for a change on the billboards. So what he's asking for is the billboards can change daily if needed. I have been putting up the fireworks date, happy holidays from the town of Chester, happy Thanksgiving from the town of Chester, Sugarloaf Pack is open and so forth. I would like the town board to allow me to change the board whenever needed to reflect holidays, special achievements, and happenings in the town. If the town board wanted just something to put up on the billboard, all they have to do is tell me and I can have the graphics made. The beauty of it is Diamond Grade is making whatever graphics we need for no charge. Lamar is allowing us an entire spot on the billboards. We should use it to the town's advantage. Please let me know if this can be done. Walter Propalo, the Recreation Director. So, does anybody have a problem with him
I
changing
think
it?
my question is, wasn't when we embarked on this, wasn't the person that we're renting the billboard from, or whoever's renting the billboard from, that we were refrained from putting certain things up? I thought, I don't, maybe I'm,
So my recollection is when those electronic boards went up, one of the things that was discussed, and I think Tom Becker was on the board, and he was able to get a negotiation of, we got a certain allocation dedicated to
Right.
the town free of charge on those electronic billboards. We've been using that for years. I think Tommy's comment recently was that, is the town board still approving information that's going on the town's lot? I think that is why you now have something from Walter. He's looking for a generic approval. It sounds like, I haven't seen that email, but he wants, if it's relating to X, Y, and Z, it doesn't have to come to the town for approval. Unless it goes outside of that, then you have to come to you and get your approval to put that up.
Right, yeah, he wants to, keep town events, keep going, rotating, rather
Yeah, no,
than
I
just
just-
having Welcome Chester.
I just
or-
remember when we first embarked on that there was a stipulation in there as to why we couldn't, why we were doing, how we were doing it, and why we were approving it, that's all.
Yeah, and can you repeat what he is specifically has on the list of things that he would like to be able to do on his own?
Holidays, special achievements happening in the town. And any town board wants something to put up on the board, all they have to do is let him know, and he would have the graphics made by Diamond Grade.
I mean, I don't know. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with holidays, being under his purview and everything. But the others are kind of vague and general. I don't see why he can't just email us ahead of a meeting and and then also
It's got to go through a meeting, so.
yeah. So I think
I don't know, sometimes we would miss something that happens in between that 2-week span that we could change, should be changed or relevant to the town.
I mean, if there was nothing in there prior to what and who we could put up on there, then I wouldn't have a problem. But I think the communication should come to us so we know, at least an email. I mean, I don't think we'd let somebody just go and.
No, I think it should just come through an email, say I'm
Yeah.
putting this up, but
Yeah,
it doesn't
but I
have
think
to come to
yeah,
a meeting to have approval.
Right, yeah, no, I agree there, but I think we need to know what's being changed.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so, make a motion,
I'll make that motion.
second,
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay. All right, so I'll talk to Walter to make sure he understands what is transpiring with that. Okay, so now, John, the Highway Superintendent, John Riley, wants to post for a highway foreman position.
I'll make a motion to post for a highway foreman position.
Second,
I'll second that motion.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so noted. Brandon, climate change?
Right.
We'll give you that spot right now.
So, we've had a member of our community come to us a couple times, more than a couple times, about this situation, and I completely agree that, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing more on our part to see how we can affect our climate in a positive way. So I, at the last meeting, had suggested that we create a climate change advisory committee. I know we had a letter here somewhere from somebody else, I believe Tracy Chu, about our climate smart community, something similar. But my proposal would be as follows to the town board. The Climate Change Advisory Committee will comprise of interested members of the community and a liaison from the town board, as suggested as 5 to 10 members, just for efficiency's sake. The committee's goal is to study the town's internal policies and code in order to figure out how, if any, improvements could be made to further contribute to climate change prevention. Although some practices in Chester have been already made, may have already been made towards that end, some members of the community and myself feel that there is no reason to not explore more opportunities to curb our own contributions to the worsening condition of the planet's climate. The committee will be able to speak with our town department heads, employees, and elected officials, as well as request any internal documents that would be subject to FOIL requests anyway. So in order to thoroughly review our practices and then advise any town entity on how they can improve on themselves. I mean, the advisement would obviously go to a town department or an employee, but then would also, bless you, would also go to the town board to make like a more formal decision on if an actual change needs to be made. The committee will physically meet no less than 4 times a year unless extenuating circumstances prevent it, but they may meet as often as they see fit. So that would be my suggestion and proposal to the board. I'm not really sure how we go about creating a committee such as this. I would imagine that it would be something similar to the comprehensive plan committee that we're supposed to be getting together at the moment. But I would like to see if the rest of the board likes my proposal.
Right, sounds like it's going forward, although, just trying to get people involved. That's another issue.
I think it's a good point to tie it into the comprehensive plan, because it's kind of, we can add that to it because we're going through the process. But I think as you see that the world's changing, we have to start to get serious about it.
Tony?
I agree on that. But we should put it together with the comprehensive plan and make it more strategic.
This way, kind of keep it all tight, instead of having everything else, having all sorts of these advisory groups that we can incorporate in the comprehensive plan with maybe some of those, as a spring off of some of those folks that you're mentioning possibly being part of it.
So my only concern with that is I feel like although there are a lot of things that have to do with this in a comprehensive plan committee, I just feel like there is enough there that is separate and different in order to justify the existence of a separate committee. And I also would like this to be a standing committee, that doesn't, I guess, isn't called just at a whim. It's more of like that's the reason for my line at the end, 4 times a year, unless extenuating circumstances prevent it. I think, having this yearly, to continually look at how the world is changing and the town is changing makes it so they're, I don't know, maybe we can see how much interest we do get for this specifically outside of a comprehensive plan, because we already kind of have an idea of who's going to be part of the comprehensive plan. I know we have some members that have already been interviewed, and then we're still waiting to interview some others. But I would like to see what the interest is with this committee before I'm comfortable rolling it into the comprehensive plan committee, because I know the comprehensive plan committee is going to be a little bit more intensive meeting and have different subjects other than things.
I guess what I'm saying is we have to have part of the comprehensive plan we have to have this piece in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We currently don't.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think you should start out with just the climate as a separate committee, just to get going in the right direction that you want,
Yeah.
then incorporate it into the comprehensive plan.
And the beautiful thing about the comprehensive plan committee is those meetings are going to be public. I believe that's so. I don't see why we can't have any members of the advisory committee for the climate change situation come to sit in on a comp plan committee meeting and give their input on things related to climate change prevention and all that. So my really question is, how formal can we make this, and what requires that for like a public committee?
Is there any?
Pass a resolution that creates the climate advisory committee that tonight. I think you've already established some sound guidelines, but you can, by resolution, create the committee format if you so choose, and then you can advertise for, people to submit letters of interest or whatever. You can start the interview process.
Hmm.
If you do create the committee, then we can establish the guidelines for them to follow, which basically, puts that what you laid out already. Maybe just put it in the form of a guideline. I think it's the good to go.
Okay. I'd like to motion to pass a resolution on the creation of a climate change advisory committee.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And then to advertise.
We have to advertise.
Yes, I'd
Yes.
like to motion to
Advertise. for the-
advertise for said committee.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And would I need to motion to make myself a liaison to that committee?
Eventually,
Eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the appropriate time, I think it's
Okay. Yeah, I will send you the language to that shortly after the meeting.
Okay,
And then,
all right. So,
yeah, before, I know executive session is the next thing on the agenda, but I would like to
we
move
got
that.
two other things to do before.
Yeah, I would like to move that to the back of the agenda.
Yeah, we're not doing.
Okay.
that. Okay, so next I've got a letter from Assemblyman Carl Barabanek. Dear Director McMillan, I have recently received concern and complaint from my district. Route 94 extending between the town of Chester and the village of Florida is in subpar condition, ranging from numerous potholes to pronounced sewer plates. I am aware that there is a project in place to address damages and insufficiencies of Route 94, but is not set to begin until summer of 2024. I request that the timeline of the project be advanced to address the needs of my constituents and the residents of Orange County. If this is not possible, I ask that the Department of Transportation address the imminent problem along the route with patchwork that can be maintained as a usable condition. I appreciate your consideration of all possible solutions. Should you have any questions or concern at all, please don't hesitate to contact my office. And I was just thinking, do we want to piggyback a letter to Department of Transportation about this?
Yeah, I had passed the resolution.
That's his,
Going into,
yeah, because Robin has received a copy of that.
From the letter that I got together with
okay,
Warwick and Goshen and
okay.
and all that.
So now let's, we got education?
Yes.
What do we got? Kindly submit this education request to virtually attend the 2023 Association of Public Historians of New York State Conference to the Town Board for approval. Over 12 hours of streaming seminars, meetings, and presentations are scheduled over the 3 days of the conference. Annual dues plus conference registration is a fee of total of $150. No additional expenses related to this request are anticipated. Respectfully, Cliff Patrick, our historian. Make a motion to approve the fee of $150 for Cliff.
I'll make a motion for the $150 education request for the historian.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you want this back?
Yes.
Okay, this is a request from Chief Dan Dollinger. I would like to send Officer DeLuca and Donato to the Basic School Resource Officer course. It will be held in Ulster County from August 21st through the 25th. There is no fee for the course. Both officers are currently assigned to work at the Chester Elementary School during the school year. This training will be beneficial in helping them to complete this assignment. So we make a motion to send Officer DeLuca and Donato to Basic School Resource.
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay. All right. And we just have the reports. Shall we did this one, association, monthly, we got monthly reports yet? That's another one, same thing. Okay, this is from Chief Dan Dollinger. During the month of July 2023, the Town of Chester Police Department responded to 5 animal complaints and investigated 2 motor vehicle crashes involving a deer. The breakdown of the complaints: 2 calls for service for lost dogs, 1 call for service an injured goose, 1 call for service was a rattlesnake on the property, and 1 call was service for a rattlesnake caught in a glue trap. And police activity. We have the Town of Chester Police Department made 8 arrests during the month. Summary is 5 charges with operating a vehicle with suspended license and/or registration, 1 charge with possession of controlled substances and operating a motor vehicle with suspended license, 1 charge with driving while intoxicated and driving with blood alcohol of greater than 0.08, 1 taken into custody for emergency admissions of the mentally health. Non-criminal activities: 35 medical calls, 20 residential, commercial, and automatic fire alarms, 15 reports of suspicious persons, vehicles, or activities, 1 motor vehicle crash with injury, 11 motor vehicle crashes without injuries, and 2 motor vehicle crashes involving deer.
Did we find the rattlesnake on the property?
Ooh,
How did that go?
was it little? Did you chase it away?
In a wooded area,
Chase it away, huh? That's it.
Hmm.
Okay, monthly report for the water department. The water department processed and distributed 6,600,000 gallons of water for the month of July. The district daily average ranged from 436 gallons to 66,000 gallons. The breakdown: Lake Hill Farms, 2,047,000 gallons. Sugarloaf, 1,473 gallons. Surrey Meadows, 1,546 gallons. Walton Lake Estates, 1,323 gallons. Fieldcrest, 217 gallons. Town Hall, 13,005 gallons. Distribution samples by distribution sampling by us, as well as random sampling by Orange County Department of Health, showed adequate disinfection levels and tested negative for any type of bacteria. The monthly Department of Health 360 form and results for 6/23 on all districts were submitted to the Department of Health on 7/5/23. Laboratory testing dates were 7/5 and 7/19. Mowing dates at the plant was 7/6, 7/25, 7/31. Bulk chemicals were delivered on the 28th. Picked up chlorine at All Gas 7-Eleven, replacing front brakes on the F-150 Ford. The other business, Sugarloaf, was mostly quiet with routine operation and maintenance. 7-6, Quackenbush came in to lower well 1A down 100 feet for a step-down test. Underwater Solutions, 7-11, replaced end nodes at the water storage tank. 7-17, what's WSP? Do I know? Started 72-hour, yeah, it could be, 72-hour step-down test at well 1A at 80 GPMs. Pump test created too much drawdown of private wells. Canceled test to start over at a lower GPM in a few weeks. 7:31 WSP started new 72-hour step-down test at well 1A at 66 gallons per minute. Surrey Meadows was mostly quiet with routine operation maintenance. Lake Hill Farms was mostly quiet with normal operation and maintenance. Underwater Solution cleaned and inspected welded storage tank 712. TAM 712 came and replaced broken radio system at the plant and tower. Underwater Solutions 713 replaced anodes on the new water storage tower. 726 repaired shutoffs at 51 Lincoln with the help from a back truck from Mudna. 731, we painted the outside of the water plant building. Walton Lake Estates was mostly quiet with routine operation and maintenance. Call out on 7-2 for water in the house from PD at 8 Tulip Drive. Put in service shutoff valve at 8 Tulip with help from Highway Department to determine leak is homeowners' responsibility. 710 water main break at 19 Oak Drive. New wraparound help from Highway Department. Water Solutions came at 710 to do storage tank cleaning. Dropped off spare booster motor off to get rebuilt as a backup on 719. 724 replaced 3-inch pipe at the plant due to a leak. 728 cleaned up the plant brush and overgrowth. Fieldcrest was quiet and routine maintenance operations. And that's all I have for that. Anything else? No? Nope. Announcements. Do we want to go executive session before town board comment?
No, could we just do the announcements now so we don't have to have everybody waiting for them after the
Okay, so we'll do
executive session?
announcements. Okay, Tony, do you have anything?
No, I'm pretty good.
You're good?
No, I'm good, Cindy.
Good? Okay, Brandon, anything?
Yeah, the SEPSA, the sensory-friendly movie night in partnership with our SEPSA chapter here in Chester is happening on Saturday from 12 to 2, like I said last time. So feel free to bring your kids to a nice movie. Well, it's not a movie night, it's a movie day. 12 to 2 p.m. So, yeah. But yeah, so make sure you guys come out. I think it'll be a good time. And I think
Okay.
it's a really great opportunity for kids that have those sensory issues. And I want to thank the town employees that helped with it for putting it on. I can't wait until Saturday. I'll be there.
Okay.
Oh, and sorry, the what's it called? Again, I know a resident had spoken about it, the noise ordinance issue. I know that we are waiting on 2 members of the town board to respond to Scott to allow him to write the resolution to change this. And is there any reason why we're not moving forward with that? Because I thought months ago we had all agreed that there's no reason we can't move it to a public hearing so we give the public an opportunity to come in and speak about it. So is there anything holding it back from doing that?
No, I don't.
Well, as I told you, I mean, I'm okay with going to public hearing, but I'm not in favor of changing it.
But you did respond to Scott saying,
I have to double check. I know when we talked, I was out of town, so.
right.
Well, do you want to set a public hearing for it or?
Well, no, we need the
we
resolution
need the resolution.
written
Okay, we need the
first.
okay.
So I need the rest of
All
the town board to email Scott and say,
All
please write this resolution.
All right, we'll do a little follow-up on noise.
noise.
Okay,
That's it
just
for
to
me.
cover a couple things, the trees have been ordered for the dog park, and that they'll be planted the end of August. And hopefully, we're gonna have a grand opening beginning of September. Also, the Sugarloaf signs that we have on order, they should be at least another 3 weeks before they're ready. And what you call it? The on the lawn concerts are still going on Thursday. How many more weeks do we have?
What, 4 more weeks, but tomorrow is sort of.
Oh,
the
yeah,
weather
tomorrow's
doesn't
supposed to be
like
heavy rain in the evening. Yeah. Do you cancel completely or do you put it out?
Normally, if it starts raining during the show, people just move on to the tent. We don't usually cancel.
I don't
We
know.
know it's gonna be a rainy day, people aren't gonna come out to a wet lawn.
Right.
So, we're gonna make the decision tomorrow morning, but,
Do you put it like a postponed date or not
we do
really?
have a rain date, but for, reasons that, we're probably not gonna use it.
Okay.
I'm involved in a big project at Radio City, and that's when it's gonna be, we gotta go through the Christmas show, and I have some things I'm looking at.
Right.
So if I do the rain date, the tent starts coming down the second week of September, and it gets later.
Right. Okay. All right. So we'll wait and see for tomorrow and the rest of the Thursdays. Okay. All right. So may I make a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make
Motion.
it. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And we won't be doing any business afterwards, so everybody can probably just go home.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anything else?
Motion to
I'll make a
adjourn the meeting?
Motion to close the meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so be it.